Good morning. We're just getting set up on site, so in a couple minutes we'll be ready to go. But thank you for joining, and just hang tight with us for a couple more minutes.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes, good morning.
Oops. Display.
Screen. I don't know how you have your display settings set up, but there we go. Okay, perfect.
So, wow. Hi everyone. So perfect. My name is Guinsly Mondésir. I'm the virtual reference librarian at Scholars Portal since 2019. Nice to meet you all. I'll ask first. The presentation is in English. We do sometimes a presentation in French. The recording will be available after this training day, and the slides as well will be available on Spot Doc, or I can send it to you after the training. Feel free to interrupt or raise your hand or ask a question when during the presentation. What else? So I'll present myself again. So Guinsly Mondésir, I'm the one responsible or part of the Librarian team. I oversee or I help all of the 16 schools coordinate the service. I create library accounts for you, create blog posts, troubleshooting any operator account issue that you may encounter. With me, I have my colleague here, Sabina.
Do you want me to introduce myself?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, I'm Sabina Pagotto. I am the Assessment and Member Engagement Librarian at Scholars Portal. So you'll hear a little bit more about what Scholars Portal does in a while. But I'm involved in most of the sort of member-facing services at Scholars Portal, including Ask a Librarian and a lot of the sort of communications and sort of working with our member libraries. So I'll be talking about some of those things today.
Great. Next, I have my other colleague, Gabby, part of the Ask a Librarian team. If you can introduce yourself, I'll try to save the...
It's okay. Yeah, good morning, everyone. My name is Gabby Crowley. I'm the Client Services Librarian at Scholars Portal.
Oops,
I apologize
I don't know if
in
I
advance. Oh, sorry.
Is that connected?
Yes, I believe so. Let me see. Oh. That one. One second while trying to can you still hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Or can
Oh, try that.
hello, Gabby?
Yep, can you hear me?
Yes, okay, it works.
Yay, okay. Good. Okay, sorry about that. My name is Gabby Crowley. I'm the Client Services Librarian at Scholars Portal. And I apologize, I'm not feeling my best today, so I'm coming to you virtually with a bit of a congested sounded voice, and I am going to keep my camera off. But like Sabina, I work across a lot of services at Scholars Portal. I do a lot of communications work, and I also work with both Sabina and Guinsly for Ask a Librarian, both for like training sessions like this, but also as one of the operators on the service.
Okay. The Agenda, what are the presentation today? First, this is the welcome, then we'll go to the introduction to Scholars Portal with Gabby. Larry help an overview of the chat platform. Then next we'll do some practice chat. You'll be paired with someone and then you'll act as an operator. One will act as an operator, one will act as a student. Next is inclusive public service. After that is online communication. Then do we have policy and FAQ? Then it's the launch. The catering service will be there by noon. And then database and online research for business by Abdullah, and as well database and online research tool for health science by me. Then we'll have a break. The next three presentation will be online reference interview, then finding full text, and the last one will be part-time bureau onboarding or part-time bureau. It's more like a tip advice for returning bureau, which is Thierry, which is a virtual reference operator. So when I say VRO, it's virtual reference operator or chat operator. Okay, next. So I'll hand it over to Gabby for the next presentation. Gabby, do you want me to?
Yeah, I can share on my end. That's probably
Okay.
easier than me saying next slide to you. I'm going to send you a sharing request and hopefully you can approve because I made you the host.
Okay, perfect.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Okay, can you see my screen?
Is it in full screen? I guess it's, yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And it's moving, etc. We're good?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so good morning. Again, my name is Gabby. I'm the Client Services Librarian at Scholars Portal, and I'm going to give you a sort of brief overview of what Scholars Portal is, what OCUL is, and then sort of the background and beginnings of Ask a Librarian. So I'm going to get us started today with a bit of background. I'll give an overview of the various moving parts of Ask a Librarian specifically, including a quick look at Library Help, which is the platform that we use for Ask, but it will just be a quick look, and then Guinsly will give a much more thorough walkthrough of the actual platform later. But this will give some important context to sort of the history of the service and how it works. So starting with an introduction to OCUL. OCUL is the Ontario Council of University Libraries. It's a consortium of the university libraries all across Ontario. And so for consortium, it means that it's a collective membership of these libraries with a sort of shared governance model, and it really focuses on collaboration through representatives from each of the member libraries. It involves a lot of like committee work, collaborative projects and initiatives, and things like that. And so there's a link to the OCUL website there if you would like to learn more. You could have a look at some of the projects that they're doing there. We also have here on screen, this is from the OCUL website talking a bit about OCUL's mission, which is to advance research, teaching, and learning by collaborating at scale in the development and delivery of innovative and transformative services, resources, and digital research infrastructure for Ontario's universities. So OCUL's primary goal is collaboration and shared expertise in order to really maximize resources and capacity and be able to provide shared services and sort of more broadly that shared digital information infrastructure, which includes Scholars Portal, which I'll talk about a bit more in a minute. But it also includes initiatives like Collaborative Futures, which you may be familiar with through Omni, which is that shared academic discovery layer or search tool and interface at most of the OCUL member libraries. And in practice, these collaborations and shared services involve collective purchasing and licensing for electronic resources, as well as collaboration and planning, advocacy, assessment, research, partnerships, communications, and professional development. So OCUL serves a very diverse population of university library stakeholders, as you can see here on the screen, sort of the difference in size of student population at the different schools. So some of the schools have significantly larger or smaller student populations, with U of T having a full-time equivalency student population of over 90,000, whereas smaller schools like Algoma, NOSM, Université de l'Ontario Français, they all have student populations below 5,000. And so with this sort of wide variety in student population and also in focuses of the university, some schools are primarily undergraduate and teaching institutions, whereas others may have really large graduate programs, research projects, professional programs like law schools or medical schools. There's a really wide variety of needs when it comes to reference support for the users at these institutions. So this chart on the screen here is showing the size of student population, and this is from the 2023-2024 school year. And the total Ontario University student population from that time was 556,951, roughly. So this map here shows where the OCUL member libraries are located. This map is a little bit out of date, so it doesn't show all of the libraries. We've had a number of new member libraries over the past few years, so some are missing, but it gives you sort of an idea of the geographic scale and how geographically widespread the member libraries are, as well as in terms of student population size. So we have schools up all the way up north in Thunder Bay with Lakehead, and then also with Ottawa and Queens further east, and then University of Windsor at that southernmost part of Ontario. So I will move on to Scholars Portal now, and then if there's any questions about OCUL and Scholars Portal after, happy to address them then. So Scholars Portal is the service arm of OCUL. It was established in 2002 as a way to implement OCUL's planning and direction, and it has really continued to grow since then. Scholars Portal provides that shared technology infrastructure that I mentioned. That was sort of the core of OCUL direction, and as well as shared collections to librarians, students, staff, faculty at these universities. Within Scholars Portal, we have two main types of services that we offer, sort of broadly. We broadly divide them into content services or content repositories, and then our member services. So our content repositories include these shared collections that I referenced earlier. So we have an ebooks platform, an e-journals platform, and we have a number of data services. So it's Borealis, which it's not specifically an OCUL service. It's a national service that OCUL is involved in. The GeoPortal for geospatial data, and then Odyssey for social science survey data. But we also have member services for libraries and librarians and end users. And Ask a Librarian is one of these member services. Many of the Scholars Portal services are available to all OCUL schools sort of by default of membership, but there are some services that are opt-in, and so not everyone participates in them. And Ask a Librarian is one of these opt-in services. Okay, so this is where it gets possibly slightly confusing, but don't stress about it. You don't need to memorize the relationships between all of these various factors, but it just helps to have a little bit of context. So this diagram shows the somewhat complicated relationship between Scholars Portal and other involved organizations. So in the top left, we have Ask a Librarian, which is the service that is run and managed by Scholars Portal. Scholars Portal is then a service or the service arm of OCUL, which is governed by the member libraries. And then the additional slightly confusing piece is where U of T comes into play, which is that U of T hosts Scholars Portal on OCUL's behalf. So basically this means that while like all of our direction comes from OCUL, the technology on which Scholars Portal runs is provided by U of T, and most of the Scholars Portal team are staff at the University of Toronto Libraries. So Scholars Portal and OCUL offices are physically located at U of T on the 7th floor of Robarts. And it's sort of like where Scholars Portal is the service arm of OCUL and the service provider for Ask a Librarian, U of T is sort of like the service provider for Scholars Portal. So again, it's really not essential for you to know. There's not going to be any quiz on this. You don't have to like remember how all these things come into play, but hopefully it will cause or clarify any confusion about the relationship between these different bodies and services and how they all relate to each other. The main way that this will really impact you is that Scholars Portal staff have U of T email addresses. So if you were to send an email about Ask a Librarian, or get an email from Guinsly, myself, or Sabina about that, it would come from a utoronto.ca email address, despite the fact that we are all librarians at Scholars Portal. So hopefully that makes sense. Again, if there are any questions, happy to answer them after, but this is really just sort of a base level of context, but happy to clarify further if there are questions after. So now I'm going to switch over to talk about Ask as a service and a little bit of the history of virtual reference in Ontario. So around 2002, 2003, three universities, York, Guelph, and TMU, which was formerly Ryerson, came together to launch a shared chat service using Docutech software. The idea was really that this would be a time-saving collaboration, since one person staffing the chat service could answer questions from users across all three schools at once. In 2008, Ask Ontario was launched, and it was funded by Knowledge Ontario, which was the time an organization of the provincial government. Ask On was a virtual reference service that served not only university libraries, but also the Ontario College and some public libraries as well. Unfortunately, funding was pulled from the project in 2010, 2011. And so in the spring of 2011, OCUL withdrew from Ask On and began the process of creating its own virtual reference project through Scholars Portal. And that project became Ask a Librarian, as we have it today. So there were 7 founding member university libraries in the initial Ask a Librarian project, and those had been the initial university library participants in the Ask On service. Ask On does still exist, as some of you may know, but it is now a service exclusively for the Ontario College Library Service, so it only serves the college libraries. So how Ask a Librarian works. As I mentioned before, Ask a Librarian is one of our opt-in services, which means that not all OCUL libraries participate right now. We currently have like 14 to 16 members. 16 is including affiliate schools, which is slightly complicated. I'll touch on that again in a minute, but we have 16 schools who are involved with Ask a Librarian, which is great. Most of the regular hours, so 9 to 5 on weekdays, for example, are staffed by like full-time OCUL library staff. So this is a mix of librarians, library technicians, library assistants, but many of the evening and weekend shifts are staffed by part-time operators or VROs. And these are generally either current MLIS or information science students or recent graduates from a library and information studies program. So on the screen here, I have an example of a daily scheduling chart for the service, though this one is actually a summer schedule, so it shows only the reduced hours. You can see there's no sort of like evening or weekend shifts shown here, and normally there would be. So during the main academic term of September to April, we would have operators scheduled for evening shifts and weekend shifts as well. We have multiple operators scheduled for each shift because this helps to handle volume of requests. There are times that are typically busier than others. And so we have to sort of manage based on that to make sure that we have enough capacity for those busier times. There's always at least one designated bilingual operator per shift so that users can receive research support in either English or French, whatever their preferred language is, at all times that the service is open. And in terms of sort of governance and organization, ASK is governed by the Virtual Reference Steering Committee, which is made up of one representative from each of the participating libraries, who we often call the local coordinator of the service. The steering committee is a really great way to share feedback and concerns back to Scholars Portal, and then for Scholars Portal to get some information on how best to coordinate the service and think about new directions and initiatives moving forward. So it's a really great partnership to have. So for participating libraries, as I mentioned, we have 16 participating libraries, including our affiliate schools. The pins in red on this map show the schools that participate in ASK, and the yellow pins are the schools that currently don't participate. And participating schools include a mix of libraries of different sizes, sort of as you maybe were able to gauge from the different size and student populations as well. So from Algoma, one of our smallest schools, to U of T, the largest. Our heaviest users are typically from schools with the larger full-time equivalency student populations, simply because there are more students to ask questions. So you'll probably see a lot of chats from Toronto, University of Toronto, Western, University of Ottawa, Guelph and Guelph Humber, and McMaster. Many of the questions you receive will be from these schools, but not always. We do also receive plenty of questions from Algoma, Lakehead, Queens, and all of our schools. So. And then listed here, sort of with their logos a bit more identifiable than just pins on a map, are the participating member libraries. So the affiliate universities I mentioned, we have Guelph Humber, which is affiliated with the University of Guelph, and then Université Saint Paul, which is affiliated with the University of Ottawa. So that is sort of how that works. And for the service, they do have their own website chat button and queue and things like that. So some stats here. These are from a number of years ago, but based on a more recent transcript review and assessment of the service, just from the last 2 years, these numbers are still largely accurate, give or take 1 or 2% in a couple of cases, as well as an increase in facilities related questions. But overall, most questions continue to be related to research help, e-resources, citations, and other kinds of library support that are not easily answered by a library webpage or something static like that. So the service is open for 67 hours a week during the main academic year. So again, that's September to April. And that includes 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday to Thursday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Fridays, and 12 to 6 on weekends. We do have reduced summer hours. So that sort of followed that schedule example that I had on the page there, running from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. A significant portion of the questions that we receive are submitted on weekends and during the evenings, which is really great for us to know, and it does show the value of a service with these extended hours, sort of beyond that standard 9 to 5 business hours. It means that we are meeting a research need to support those users who might not otherwise be able to access help during those hours. Most of our users are seeking help for reference and research, as I said. So those more in-depth research questions versus that much smaller percentage of questions that come in regarding things like facilities questions, noise complaints, where can I find the photocopier, library accounts, things like that. Most of our users are undergraduate students, but we do receive questions from graduate students, postdocs, profs, and even sometimes members of the public. The majority of our chat users are asking questions from off campus. So again, sort of meeting that need for live research support from trained library staff without having to physically be in the library or speak to someone over the phone. And also worth noting that around 30% of our users coming from on campus is significant still. So there is still value in the chat service for on-campus users as well. For those who maybe are not as comfortable asking a question in person, or maybe don't know where to go to ask the question in person, anything like that. Okay, so Clavarder avec nos bibliothécaires is the French version, the Francophone version of Ask a Librarian. And Clavarder allows us to offer the service to universities with bilingual mandates. This is open for the same number of hours a week as ask. So as I mentioned earlier, every shift has at least one bilingual operator to answer French chats, and they can also pick up English chats if they're not too busy with French chats. And so there is a bilingual support available at all hours that the service is open. Clavardé began as a pilot project in 2014 with funding from the Canada-Ontario Agreement on French Language Service awarded to the University of Ottawa. And it was a collaboration between Scholars Portal and the OCUL universities with bilingual mandates. So right now that's U Ottawa and Laurentian, but again, we also have a couple of affiliate universities, so Université Saint Paul as well. The moving parts of sort of behind the scenes of how Ask works. The chat button is the point of entry to Ask a Librarian chat. This appears on the library website for each of the participating schools, generally in that school's colors and their own branding. So the ones on the slide here are sort of in the standard like Scholars Portal designed service colors, the blue and red chat bubbles or the blue and red envelopes. But these will be adjusted to match the colors of the school that the website belongs to. So the button on the bottom left with the classic chat bubbles, that means that the service is open and you're able to click the button and ask a chat. If the envelopes are showing, it means that the chat service is closed. And generally, that means that users will be prompted to send an email to the reference desk instead. Sometimes it will send users to like an FAQ page or something, but generally it will direct the user to email reference and prompt them to come back when the hours are during opening hours. Bilingual libraries have French and English chat buttons that will divert the chat to the proper English or French cues to make sure that an operator who speaks that language picks up that chat and can assist that user properly. And each button corresponds to the chat queue for a specific school. So we can see where each question comes from and we can track what language they are, so we can see if we have, how many French chats we have versus English. So if you were to click the button on the Queen's Library website, it would take you to the Queen's chat queue, for example. This is what the chat window looks like once you've clicked that button. Again, the window colors will also typically reflect the school's colors. The user can immediately begin the chat by entering a message. And then there's also an automatic message that will pop up for the user, welcoming them to the service and prompting them for their name, their academic status, and their question. So sometimes you'll get a chat that starts with a research question and then is followed by something like Claire, undergrad, Trent, something like that. Chat history is preserved in the window. So if the user closes the chat and reopens it later, those initial messages will still be there, so long as they haven't cleared their cache in the meantime. And there's also a link to a satisfaction survey that they can fill out at the end, and they can request an emailed transcript of the chat via the little envelope button at the bottom. They're able to send attachments if it's helpful to send a screenshot to sort of show if they're seeing an error page or something like that. There are a lot of options for the user there, and you'll get a bit more of a more detailed walkthrough of what this process is like later today. So some of our libraries also have a texting option, text the library. So you can see here that there is a designated phone number. And for the user, it just looks like a typical text thread, essentially. On the operator side, it comes through the platform in the exact same way as a non-text chat does, as the standard chats do, but it will say like TXT in the chat name at the top. And there is a character limit, but otherwise it's the same experience in responding to chats. So sort of one of the main things to just sort of be mindful of is if you're sending like a really long link or something, that might get broken up as the message sends if there's a character limit. Again, you'll be able to see sort of what a text chat looks like. So this is where Guinsly will talk in more depth. Later, you'll see a demo of the platform and you'll get to try it out for yourselves. But this is a quick look at what the chat service looks like from the operator's perspective in Library Help. So at the top, you would see your name and status, sort of in that top right there. To the left, you can see the guests and contacts list where new and currently active chats will appear. The contacts list shows you the other operators who are online and staffing the chat at the same time as you. And then the chats list from users will appear above that, outlined in yellow. At the bottom of the page is a conference room chat. This is a separate chat space where you can message the other operators. So you can use this to check in or out of your shift. You can use it to ask a question if needed, if you want to sort of clarify with someone else of like, oh, is anyone, familiar with XYZ? You're welcome to do that. And then the middle space, the main space in the middle is the chat box with the users. So this one shows just one chat right now, but if you have multiple chats open at once, they will pop up side by side or stacked, so you can see them all at once. And the interface is adjustable in terms of you can make the bottom chat with operators larger or smaller, so you can adjust to have more space for your chats as you see. All of the information that you will need for verifying any information, for finding information on the library's website, anything like that, that's integrated into the platform here. So again, info about each school, some quick links, and then proxy passwords, which will help you to be able to sort of replicate any e-resource problems or check for e-resource solutions that you might not have access to if it's for a school that you're not specifically affiliated with. And so this is the Ask a Librarian area of the Scholars Portal Wiki, which we call Spot Docs. Access is limited to operators and coordinators from the participating schools, but you will receive login credentials to access this space during the onboarding process. You may already have them. If not, I'm sure it's part of the plan for today is that you'll get your Spot Docs access. It has a lot of the same information as in Library Help, but it also has a lot of training resources and documentation. It's where you'll find the schedule, current and past schedules, the blog posts that Guinsly mentioned, you can find them here, which have some really helpful sort of tips and tricks and like case scenario kind of information that would be helpful to know. And you can also find the proxy passwords in the library profiles page here as well. So you can consult this page on an as-needed basis. Sometimes it's useful to just have it open and on hand during your shifts, particularly for any quick links that you need to a library's webpage or platform or anything like that. But generally, most of what you will need for your shifts is also in Library Help. And then the Virtual Reference Part-Time Operator Programs, the VROs. So we do, as I mentioned, have a number of part-time virtual reference operators who typically will staff the service in the evenings and on the weekends. These are primarily master's students or library information science students or recent graduates. And it's a really great opportunity for students and new librarians to gain practical work experience doing virtual reference. It did used to be called a mentorship program, and before that, an internship program. So if you are looking through any old documentation or anything on Spot Docs, you might see these positions referred to as mentee or intern positions. But generally, we now use the term VROs or virtual reference operators. This includes both English and bilingual positions, and all participants can use us at Scholars Portal as a reference once they've completed a year in the program. And these job postings are typically available on the OCUL website, on Scholars Portal social media. So that's where you can find it. And that is all for me. A very quick intro to Ask, some background on Scholars Portal and OCUL. It's a bit of a whirlwind. So if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them now. Thank you very much. I will stop sharing my screen.
Thank you very much, Gabby. Is there anyone who has a question? So as you see, we did an overview of the admin part of Scholar Portal and as well all our service that we offer. And we also show we have over 500,000 students that we at least we provide service, I could say. And then the geographic as well, from Thunder Bay to far east is Ottawa, and southeast is Windsor in general for Scholars Portal. Okay, perfect. One thing I didn't do, as I just want to know who's there. Introduce myself. I'll ask Mila and Chesa to just say their name and their school. First, let's start here as we're in person here. So let's start with you. All of you has a name tag, but I'll just.
My name is Alexandra Tomei, and I am Electronic Resources Management Library Technician at Toronto Metropolitan University.
Okay, thanks, Sandra. Then,
Hi, my name is Holly Forsyth Paul. I'm the archivist at WCAG University, and I also teach at that school.
okay, nice to meet you.
Hi, my name is Anna Jefferzowski, and I'm a library technician at Toronto Metropolitan University.
Okay, nice to meet you.
Hi, my name is Keela McDowell. I don't have a name tag, sorry about that.
Okay, no worries.
I'm working as a GSLA at OCUL right now, and I'm in my second year of the MI program here at CFT.
Okay, great. Okay.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kimali. I'm
Okay.
currently working as a part-time library assistant at the Consortial Library, and I recently finished my also program in LS.
Great.
My name is Amy Hussein. I just graduated from the MI program as well. I just started as a library assistant at TPL.
I'm Linda McHugh. I also just graduated from the MI program here. I recently finished my talent internship at Reports.
And Mila, if
Hi there. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
yes, I can.
All right. My name is Mila Bud. I'm recently have joined the team of Interlibrary Law and Resource Sharing at TMU.
Okay, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Sa?
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, my name is Chessa. I'm a library technician at Toronto Metropolitan University. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Perfect. So next presentation. First is a question from Gabby's Chesa and Mila. Can you see the slides? Or is it? Did I share it?
No, not yet.
Okay, sorry. Thanks. Share. Thanks. Perfect. Thanks following Gabby's presentation, introduction to Scholars Portal. She mentioned the list of schools. Usually, sometimes we do this training in virtually, so that's why we had Menti. So following this, do you know which school is missing from this? Okay, you're quick. Okay. And you is?
York.
Okay, next is? There's 21 school at OCUL, but for Librarian is 16. So who would like to have one of the guests? We have schools from Lakehead.
In the chat.
Oh yeah, sorry. Sorry about that. There's one who said Ontario Tech. There's another one who said Nipissing. Okay, and the last choice. Anyone? Okay. Okay. I just want to make sure I get it right.
Trent University.
Who? Sorry?
Trent University?
No, Trent is part of OCUL, but for Ask a Librarian, the chat service, it was Mila who had it. It's Ontario Tech.
Oh,
So So congrats, and as well is in alphabetical order. So Algoma, Brock, Carlton, and then later you have OCAD, and then missing Ontario Tech, and then Ottawa.
Don't worry, the longer you work on Ask, the more you'll remember all the names of all the schools.
Yes. Okay, perfect. So this presentation, it's not really convenient this position, but half of it I'll stand up and the rest I'll have to sit down, I guess. No, I have to sit down, sorry. What we'll learn is our chat service provider, which is Library Help. Then we'll learn about the user experience, the user interface. Then we'll show about what is the logistic when incoming chat is being submitted to the service, and the onboarding email. Later on, we'll have a demo. The demo is mostly me who's gonna show how to all the chat service work. The chat service provider. First, our chat service. There's many chat service provider. There's LibChat from LibAnswer or this family of Springshare, I believe. And there is most public library has different chat service as well. We use Library Help. Library Help for academic is the most, I cannot say the most, but it's quite popular among universities across the world. You see a map here. Before we used to use Live Person, which was changed to Live Engage. That software was more business-based. It wasn't academic library-based, so that's why we changed it in 2016. It offers a friendly user interface, and you don't need a software. You just need your browser. And so we started using in 2016. From 2011 to 2016, it was a mix of Live Engage, and I believe 2011 was an internal chat service that we had, that our system maybe created. The user experience. So how does the user either launch the chat service? First, they have to visit their library. Here is an example of Algoma website. On the left hand, you see the chat button here. Next is another example. This one is from Todd Library is McMaster. And on the down left, there's another type of chat button. It's called a chat tab, to be specific, but it's a chat button that our student can click on, or our user. And next, or finally, I could say CMU, who has a chat button. You have two buttons. Oops. And the one on the left is to launch the chat service on the web, and the one on the right is the text to launch it. If you have a mobile phone, it will open your SMS. Is it software or SMS app? Sorry. Okay, let's view the chat window as a patron will see it. Patron can turn audio notification on and off. So meaning that at the beginning, when the user send a chat message, when the operator will reply, the patron will hear a sound that ping or pong, I don't know. We'll hear a typical sound that a message has been sent. They can turn visual notification on and off. They can clear the chat window, meaning that if there's a chat transcript and they want to clear this chat, they can do that. They can launch the Ask a Librarian Satisfaction Survey on the left end, and as well send file. They can the patron can send files and send the chat transcript to their email or to another email. There's two type of chat windows that our patron or user can see. On the left is the first generation, they call it, and on the right is the second generation. The difference is the icons has been redesigned, I could say, and there's a bit more feature on the second generation of chat box. As well, you can also have, sometimes some school might prefer to have what they call an entry form or pre-chat question form, I could say, meaning that the user will fill in this type of form so that the operator already know the student name, the email, and what is the question. So this is this is an example, but of the entry form, meaning that someone has filled this form previously, and then as soon as they click on Start Chart, another window will open for the user with their question. Chat dispatch. So before looking at what operators see as a message, we'll discuss what is the logistic, how the chat goes from a school to every other operator. How does the system work? Usually it's like from the student visit the website, they click the chat button to launch the service, and then all operator will see this question, this incoming chat. But sometimes some schools use a different mechanism, meaning that, let's say a student from Carleton will launch the chat service, and then it's only the operator from Carleton University who will be able to see this chat. Any other operator will not be able to see it for a while. This is a diagram of how things work. This system is called home team first, meaning some school has prefer to use home team first, meaning that their home team or their staff, or sorry, their operator see the incoming chat first. Let's say Carleton, a student from Carleton launched the chat service. On the left here, the Carleton operator is online, is on shift, and is available, meaning that the operator is able to receive incoming chat. And then that operator will see the incoming chat and will answer or claim this chat. Let's say another branch, let's say the operator status is set to busy, meaning that as an operator, let's say you have 2-3 chat open that you are answering student, and then you don't want to answer more than what you currently have. So you change your status is changed to busy. Or let's say that there's no Carleton operator online. And then what will happen is that the chat will only appears on the scholars portal. Every school has what we call queues, services or channel, or scholars portal. Every school has the scholars portal queue, meaning that every operator will be able to see the Carleton chat, incoming chat. The time triggered rollover that you see here, this mechanism is just that if for any reason the Carleton operator is online, but I don't know, for any reason, they might answering another chat and they didn't see the incoming chat. What will happen after, let's say 45 seconds or 50 or 60 seconds, it will switch over to Scholars Portal queue, meaning that all other operator will be able to see this chat and answer it. So this is the summary of the routing model. Like I said, there's two types of routing or logistic. There's the home team first, and there is the flat model. I could say the flat model is simple, meaning that as soon as a student launch the chat, every operator will see this incoming chat. So schools, students from schools like Algoma, Guafomber, Lakehead, McMaster, Ottawa, St. Paul, those students, as soon as they launch the chat, every operator, let's say from TMU, from Toronto, University of Toronto, or Brock will be able to see this chat. The home thing first, like I said, sometimes school has they might have expertise, or they know that, oh, in October that week, we already know we are going to receive this type of question from our user. Then I prefer that our operator answer or being able to see this chat first, because they know that their community, or they know what type of question coming, or for any other reason. So school like Toronto, students from Toronto, Carleton, Guelph, Brock, Laurentian, OTEC. So operator from those schools will see their incoming chat first from their own school. Okay, how does that work? What's the difference between home thing first and it's just that while you are on the chat service, let's say you have 20 in October, the average from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. is around 23 chats about. So almost half of them you'll not see half of them if you are home team first. Not even if you are home team first, but some operator will not see half of the chat because there's other operator on the service. Let's say I have a colleague in TMU. The TMU will see their incoming chat. So first, me as a as let's say Guafomber operator, I will not see the incoming chat. So this diagram here show you about, it's a bit white, the overview. As you can see, most of the arc that comes from, let's say, chat from Toronto, picked up by Toronto, when the arc goes to the same section, meaning that it's a chat that the local operator picked up from their community, their students. So the Toronto operator picked up chat from Toronto. When you see a chat that goes from, it's been a long, this diagram has been created in 2020. So that's why some names haven't been changed. But let's say Western. So the chat, Menti, we call those, Menti is another name, as Gabby mentioned, part-time virtual reference operator. Those who work for OCUL. Let me try another one. Okay, so Western, let's say there are 27 for a time period. In September, let's say there's 27 chat from Western, but that has been picked up by Guelph operator. Okay, oops, sorry. It's not, it's so inconvenient. Thanks. Okay. So that will display, like I mentioned, sometimes you receive chat. Sometimes it might look quiet for you. We have, let's say, 6 operator that you see online, 6 other operator, but you might say, okay, it's been like 15 minutes, there's no chat. But actually, some operator have received chat and you don't see it as they are in the home team first. Now, the other section that we'll go over the onboarding email. Most of you have received that type of email. Some school has, I don't know, it seems like their Outlook or Gmail doesn't show this table properly without color, but you should receive an email like this. When I create an account for you, all of you has an account except those part-time operator. So I have to create an account for you. And as you see, the section is, you'll have on the top section is the library help username and password. So that's what you will use to be logged into the service. And then you'll also have spot doc, what we'll see a bit later as well. And other information, and the one information below that might be is quite important is which queue will you be staffing as an operator. Okay, and it's also mentioned if you are subscribed to listserv or not, which listserv that you're subscribed on. That dated maybe 2 years ago, we had 382 operator. So around 15%, I mean, 382 operator from our 16 school in total. 15%, about 15% are bilingual, bilingual operator, meaning that they answer chat in French and or in English. We'll go to the live demo section first. On your onboarding email, you have the link to the web client, is the chat software we use, the web client. You can, some operator try to Google. Yes, you can try to Google, but sometimes the link that Google or the first result of Google might not have the CA, meaning that the Canadian server. So you'll try to log in, but it will not work. You'll need to ensure that it has a CA. We prefer or we recommend that you bookmark this link on your browser. If you ever forgot your password, please contact your local coordinator. At CMU is Cecile, at OCAD is Sarah. Is there anyone from other school? No, not here. Okay, and so each school has at least one local coordinator, or you can contact us or me, and we'll send you your credential. Do not click on forgot my password, like I said, because it will not give you another link to reset your password. You have to contact us. Since maybe last year, yeah, we have 2 options to log in, but only one work for us. It's the left one, the sign in button. Because Library Help offer the service, it's a platform for Canada-wide or worldwide, I could say. Some school, which is not part of Ask a Librarian, use single sign-on. So, but us, we use only sign in. Okay, so I will start the demo, and for the next 20 minutes max, because we're running late. I will click on this. Okay, so I will sign in. If you have any question, feel free to raise your hand or to interrupt me. So as you can see, I will just Okay, so the first windows that you will see when you logged in is what we call the queue selection, the queue the staffing assignment window, meaning that on the onboarding email, it will show you what queue, what service are you staffing. So if I'm a student, an operator from Queens, I will have the option from the Queens text service, and I will also log into Scholars Portal and Scholars Portal texting services. But I could say every school is different. For this chat practice, we'll only use the practice webinar, because if we log into others, we'll start receiving live incoming chat from students. So we don't want that. The service opens at noon today, but starting next week, it will open at 10. And what you have, you'll have a visual notification stating that you are not staffing 7 others or X amount of other queues. It's just a visual notification. And you also have an auto logout. So by default, I'm not sure it's by default, but on my account, after 2 hours and 10 minutes, it will log me out. What happened is it was really, it's an interesting feature because especially during the pandemic that everyone was working from home, and then sometimes you just leave your chat's window open when you finish your shift, and then the service closed, and then we still receive incoming chat from students, but no one picked up the chat. So perfect. So I'll connect. So I'll give a brief overview of this layout. On the top right, you'll see the status message box. So Guinsly is in training, let's say. The staffing selection, the status selection. Currently, I'm available to receive incoming chat. Then you'll have what we call in the bottom. There's three components. This is what we call the conference room. I'll just give a brief overview and I'll explain a bit more each of them a bit later. Then we'll have the queue, which queue I am staffing, or the all operator is online or staffing, and contact, meaning other operator that is currently online. Okay, so I'll explain, and on the left, there is the sidebar. If you click the hamburger menu, you can see that there's other pages that we'll see a bit later. We'll go over all these components. So right now I can say Guinsly is in training. If there's other operator online, as you can see here, other operator will see that I'm in training. Sorry. What happened is that if I'm, let's say I'm TMU Toronto Metropolitan University operator, and there's already a Toronto Metropolitan University operator, so that creates confusion. You can state what are you doing, or let's say you're a TMU operator, but you're not supposed to staff during that time. You can say that you're in training, so that other operator, when they see incoming chat from TMU, they will pick them up instead of thinking that you will take it. Available, the status, you have available, busy, away, and then some synonym. free is a synonym for available, and extended away is a synonym of away. So busy is meaning that you will not receive new chat, meaning that the chat that you are currently answering, it's okay, but you'll not see incoming chat. And ODA operator, like I see that Sabina or the other operator online, you see there her status is busy, is set to busy, meaning that new incoming chat, she will not see them. And then away, we rarely use away, or usually we just log out or close the computer or just away, I guess. One of the reasons we might use away when there's a fire drill, let's say at the school, and then you are staffing the service, and then you select away so that everyone knows that you're away from that time. You don't need to provide explanation if it's a fire drill. And the conference room on the bottom at the beginning, as you can see here, our recommendation is that you state either your name, but you stay, you let other operator know what you are staffing. Let's say Curtis at University of Ottawa is here for Ottawa from 3 to 4. So that was yesterday, so that everybody knows. And when they log out, okay, it's not a good necessarily example, but Mish from Ottawa is sign out at 3. Yes. Okay, that's a bit weird. Okay, it seems like there were 2 operators at Ottawa at the same time. Next, as you can see here, Sabina let other operator, if there were many other operator, knows that she's in training this morning. And then we have also Chesa, and next we have those queue. You can hover the circle, you'll see who's staffing those queue. And and then next you'll see the list of contact, the list of operator currently online. The staffing assignment, you can click on that. Is it a tab or subsection, or I don't know what to call this? When you logged in, there are staffing selection box or staffing selection window. That one, if you didn't click, let's say you forgot to staff Scholars Portal, then you can come here and click on, I don't want to do it, but you click on yes. To close it, you click on not the staffing assignment, you click on the guest and contact to show the guest and contact menu, tab. Guest, it's another tab that we don't see, but when we have a new chat, the guest, there's another guest section. You'll see chats. So that's overall. So next will be the main chat window here. So I'll ask my colleague Sabina to send a new chat. Okay, 1 second. I might have. Okay, I didn't hear no sound. I don't know why. But I'm supposed to hear a sound notification when there's a new incoming chat. Since August, is it August 7 or August 11? This month, Library Help added this this notification saying guest wait time is 34 seconds, meaning that the amount of time that the guest waited is currently waited for someone to claim this chat. Before pick up the chat, I'll just go on overview of this chat window, I could say. On the left here, you see the avatar. If it's from, let's say, Brock, you'll see a a different avatar. Here is a practice chat, is the Q practice chat. So this is the proxy password, and we'll see that a bit later. You'll see the Q name, the guest ID, or guest ID or hash ID, I could say. The page where this guest has launched the chat window. The guest IP is not important. The history, you can click here and it will say, even if this guest was answered, let's say 2 hours ago, the guest asked a question, you'll see the history. Even if you are not the one who answered it, you'll see the history of the chat transcript. You'll see the chat transcript, sorry. And here is the message from the user. On the right, if you have many chats, so sometimes I'm entering 3 chats in the same time. Sometimes I highlight one because, okay, this one I want to, not that it's important, but let's say the user said, okay, the user is reading an abstract, so I'll just highlight it. Meanwhile, I'll insert the others. Okay, the next one was to minimize the chat, and the next one is to end this chat, to close it. So next is the icons. Over all of those icons, we'll go over all of those icons. One is the can message. Can message is a set of pre-script message, I could say. They have many categories: introduction, searching, miscellaneous, closing. Let's say closing. My shift is now ending, and I'll transfer your chat to a colleague. Or thank you for using the chat service, and remember to come back if you have more questions. So those are a set of pre-recorded message that is just faster for operator to answer, or to, instead of typing it, they can just send this message. Next is a list of emojis. If you want to say rolling on the floor laughing, or any type of emojis. Well, I mean, this is a preset of emojis, I could say. So you can send emojis to the patron. Next is transfer. Let's say you want to transfer, you are answering this chat and you want to transfer it to another operator. You can click on here. You can either transfer it to a queue. In our case, I can either transfer it to, let's say, well, we don't have much choice, but let's say the French practice webinar, the French practice queue, or select a specific user, let's say Chessa, which is we test. I never. Okay, I never see that one before. I'll verify that. Next is to attach a file and send it. Next is the library sharing tool, I could say. This is a presentation of its own. So you can create a snapshot or screenshot. You can create a tutorial, a video, and send them. You can ask for screen sharing, meaning that you as an operator see the screen of the student, the user, sorry. And you can edit as well, provide, when you have a snapshot, you can edit it to provide, let's say, create an add annotation on the screenshot, let's say on arrow or text. So that being said, I forgot the other one is copy this chat transcript. It's just copy this chat transcript to paste it somewhere else. Or you can send this chat transcript to the user or to the library. Let's say that you want to flag this and then send it to the library, you can send it to the library here. And we don't use the before last. What is before last? The one, yeah, the flag tag this chat. We don't use that. And then if you want, you can also block the user. So so we'll go a bit more in detail in another presentation. So next will be to answer this chat. To clean this chat, we'll start typing. So I'll start typing, let's say. So as soon as I start typing, there's some auto suggestion. So I can either continue typing or select one and send this message. So hi, my name is Guinsly. How I can help you? You can decide to add your name or not. So it depends on you. What else? So you see a notification that the guest has stopped typing or is currently typing. Sorry. And next, that's about it for the moment. I don't have a file to send. Snipping. I can use the snipping tool. Let's say I just want to, I don't know, a random image. I can copy this using the copy icon to copy this image and Control V to send it. Just send the image or edit. In that case, I'll just send this image. I don't want to add annotation and everything and create. And you can click on show image to show a thumbnail of this image. The image will, any file that you send to library help after a week, it will be deleted. So it's usually student or user see it right live. So, and then after it will delete this image. Next, we'll go quickly on other aspect of this chat platform. The chat platform just is 90 or 99% what you'll use while you're staffing, but maybe 85% because sometimes you're on the library catalog or other web pages, but you'll still use the library, the web client. Another page is chat history. You can see other or previous chat. So this is a presentation of its own as well. So we'll go quickly. It's just that it provides, you can search for specific chat from, let's say I want a chat from from this operator, which is me. That's about it. For the last week, I answered those chats. Treemail is not a service that we use. Next is can message. There's two type of can message. What we call the shared can message or system can message, meaning that all operator has those can message on their account. And there's another one, personal can message, meaning that is the operator himself or that choose to create those can message. So you can click on the plus icon here and type your can message, or edit a previous can message. So those are the personal one that you can edit. The system one or the shared can message, shared among all other operator, you cannot edit them. Next is profile. Profile, I will use, let's say, TMU. This is the library profile. Each school has at least one library profile, or each queue has one library profile. You'll have information as proxy password, contact information, library help, the library policy, general resource, student writing resources, and so on. Those are useful link for you instead of Google this information or visiting the website to search for this information. Next item is the preference. Preference is you'll have in your account, you can change the sound notification. Currently, the sound for new chat is on GoGo. You'll have bark. Okay, I don't hear any sound, sorry. But you have sound notification that you can change. Show visual notification so that you can see if you're on another tab, you'll see the a visual notification of the message being sent that the patron sent. Chat workspace currently have automatically 4 chat that can be open in the main windows, meaning the main windows here, I can have 4 chat. Each time I have a chat, it will divide it, this space. So far, it will have 4 space, 4 square, I will see. Next is to go quickly. This other settings option. I prefer to select the taller typing area. The taller typing area is when I'm in a chat. This section here below is taller. And so on. And what else? You can change your avatar as well. We don't recommend to change your name, your username, sorry. And that's about it for this section. I went a bit quickly as we're running a bit late. So next will be the spot doc. Sorry, I have to log in. Okay, slowly. Great. So that's the Ask a Librarian homepage. So what does it contain? It contains information about the latest blog post that we created, accessing the report issue form for mischief or proxy not working, any discrepancy on the service, library help chat client. You have the link as well. And you'll have the service schedule. The service schedule is here. So as I said, the schedule ends tomorrow. So that's why there's only on the operator column, there's 5. Today is what? Today is Thursday, sorry. Thursday. So we have at noon, we'll have 5 operator online: Toronto, Western, Queens, CMU, and Ottawa. So that, and you'll have as well our library profile, which is also what we see in library help. And that's about it. I will stop sharing. I just want to see if I go over all. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Do you have any question? Okay. What time is sources? Okay, 10:30 to 10:45. So let's say up to 11. We'll do a practice chat so that you can log in and try the service if you can. So just for you, trying, I could say, let's say next is, let me share my screen. Sorry for the one share. Okay, so for the next, you can either take a break or you can practice in pair. I can, those are the question below. So you'll act as, one will act as an operator, one will act as a student. Just answer one question and then they will switch. Let's say I'm a student at TMU. I'm looking for a guide how to use overleaf. Can you assist me? So that it's one question. Or you know what? As we don't have much time, let's everyone try this one, how to access e-resources from another library. Yes, sorry.
Maybe we can just start by getting people to log in and then, you figure out what question you want to ask.
Okay, great. So perfect.
To try the software. I think Guinsly.
No, for the Holy, that's the name, sorry.
No.
But we don't have.
Oh yes, the part-time VRO doesn't have it currently.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't have it, so I'll create one quickly for you. But everyone else, yes.
I don't have it.
Oh, you don't have it?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay. Do you have our email?
No.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay. I don't remember if Sarah sent, but Sarah sent me two names, Paul and what is the other name? That's Sarah. Sarah is currently away.
Okay.
Who has a onboarding email? I'll give you. Oh, you don't have. Yeah, you have. I believe Villa, sorry, Chesa and Mila.
Why don't we put up the username and password for the Menti login for the spot docs. So then if you don't have a username to get into library help yet, you can go in and be the person asking the question and set it kind of pair up.
Okay, yes, that's a good one. So perfect. So I will
I don't know what the password is for the Menti
yes.
account, and then we'll go in and try submitting that.
Okay.
docs.scholarsportal.info.
Stop sharing for just a quick. Stop share. How can I display? Just want to select. See.
And if you need, we've got the washrooms are up that way to the right. So water fountains, water bottle fillers. Just the right side door.
SP chat. Now I'll just share the screen.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, there's the username and password to get into Spot Docs if you want to get in there and navigate to the practice buttons page. So from the drop-down menu, you see Scholars Portal, then go down and select Ask. That'll take you to the Ask homepage. And the practice button is underneath the training resources.
Questions.
If my the inclusive public search is going to take a whole
Okay.
hour, so
The online communication won't take as well.
Okay.
Maybe 20 minutes.
Okay.
That is.
Great.
You don't have. Oh, you have it. You-
I don't have anything.
Okay.
Sarah's away this week, so I think that. would be
Okay,
yeah.
okay, okay. Because let me see if I created one for you already. No.
And otherwise, if people want to.
And do you have, Holly, do you have access to your email?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll send you in 2 minutes your, okay.
Where is this just all I can really access? With this? like MSc school or anything else?
What are you trying to?
Like
Okay.
whatever.
So
I can.
the training resources are on the side, and through there we have the practice chat, practice button. If you want to submit practice questions, you can also do that on your own if you want to like practice by yourself. Just sign in to Library Help and only set practice queue, and then go here and submit a practice question for yourself if you're like trying to figure out how something works in the software.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, give me a moment while I search this up for you.
So I send it to you. So. Oh no, Lena, and then. Okay.
Hello there. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. Are we on a break right now or after?
Yes. Sorry, we are either break or practice chat. So
Oh, either or. So I can either practice now or.
yes, or a break, yes. Up to 11, about, yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, let me put that on chat.
It is, yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah.
somebody actually messaged me. Well, in my chat, so.
Okay.
Because I want to know too, so that I couldn't get a copy.
Yes, yes, it's opening.
Okay, yeah. I've been asking, it's not even the same question, they've been open. Because I was curious, because somebody, I thought it was shutting down, so I was like, you know, asking it.
Somebody signed in and signed into all of the queues. Sorry, I'm sure I moved it.
Also mistakenly changed my name to in training.
So you're good.
I'm good, okay. And should this be open?
Might have been you.
Yeah, I changed my name to training by mistake too.
Oh, okay.
It's a disaster.
So if you go to the staff and assignments button here. Oh, okay. Something has done a training here. Oh, actually, can you change yourself from away? I'm just going to tap into your
You can log it out and then.
Oh, here we go. Okay, yes, so right now you've only been given access to these two queues. So you only want to be in practice webinars for now, and so it should be no for scholars portals. Otherwise you get real live questions that we don't want.
That would be
That would be scary if we started questions across the problems. Okay, so you're good, you're just on practice webinars. Okay, perfect. And you can always change that by clicking on the staffing assignments tab if you get it wrong when you sign in.
This looks different now than before.
Did you go back to the?
Oh, there's everything.
Okay, yeah, so your guests, your contact list is just minimized.
Okay.
So that's all the other people who are online right
Cool.
now.
How do I indicate that?
By typing it up there. So there you can see. I don't know what these
So somebody asked if the, our history records closed down. Is it?
not, not surprised. And these are.
Yeah, I
yeah,
know, fake question. Oh, yeah, okay. That's for, okay. And then as far as like, if somebody said that they wanted a resource, it would be direct them to this site, this, or to like a reference.
That's a good question. I think we'll cover that in some of our training a little bit later today about like how to actually handle the questions that come in. But it's usually a good idea to like ask more questions about what specifically they're looking for.
Okay.
So you can figure out like what they mean by, you know, when they say resource or like what, like an overview if they're looking for peer-reviewed articles for their course or something like that. So yeah, usually asking more questions is like. But yeah, we'll talk about that.
How do I see questions?
Well, none have come in since you signed in. So when a question comes in, it will pop up like big on your screen here. And it will kind of keep flashing until somebody answers it.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's a similar existing software, so. you can use it in very similar ways.
Yeah, that's very much.
Well, like Gabby said in her introduction, like the Ask On and Ask Librarian services start out as like the same service and then the few libraries kind of like get to do their own thing.
There was I noticed that even differences, there were just like slight variations. But not. The way that messages are formatted, like on buttons. You have to like kind of. You can also, yeah, could be.
So moving on how that's gone. It's just a new thing. I wrote them not something. I never thought when kids of them were just like, oh, I didn't know we could use that. I was like, I don't know. I never did.
No, she said she encouraged it. She said.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, yeah. Because it was like, if you want to have a smiley face at the end, some passive aggressive.
Wow, there'll be a presentation on that a little bit later.
Yeah.
You want to start right now or?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, do you think we should go now or give them another minute?
Let's go now. Let's see, where is the training session? Okay, that's your inclusive. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so okay, we'll start, and then mine won't take long.
Okay, yeah, mine won't be that long.
Okay.
Okay, all right, so if you want to kind of wrap up, we'll move back to some presentations.
Training, presentation. So what is it? Okay, inclusive. Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
I'm not. Let's see. Screen two. It's not convenient. Okay. Hi, Chesa and Mila. So we'll start. We'll start right now. Okay. Just to verify, can you see the screen, the slides? Okay, great. Thanks. Thanks, Chesa.
I'm going to figure out how to do this. Can I just duplicate and then make? Oop. Okay. Oops. Okay, hold on. Where did my Zoom thing go?
You have to share again.
Share. Maybe I can just do this and that will make things easier for me. Okay. Nope. Why did it do this? Sorry. Sorry, people online. I am facing a screen that does not show what's on my slides. Okay. Okay. Can you let me know in the chat if you can see my slides? Yes. Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, I'm good. Okay, so our next session this morning is about inclusive public service and how we can kind of incorporate some principles of accessibility into our chat interactions. So just to start with, and many of you are probably familiar with this already, we are subject to some legislation about accessibility in Ontario, primarily the AODA, or Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act, which was passed in 2005. The initial goal was to make Ontario fully accessible, whatever that means, by 2025. So ambitious goal. I don't know if I would say that we've achieved like full accessibility in the province of Ontario, but that was kind of the original goal of the AODA. And the AODA also has a couple of regulations that are relevant to us. One is the accessibility standard for customer service. Among other things, that requires that anybody who's working in a customer service role gets training in how to do so accessibly, as well as the integrated accessibility standards regulation, which basically just has a bunch of other standards in it, including the communication standard, which has several pieces that are really relevant to libraries about, you know, being able to provide accessible communications on request, or alternate formats on request if something is in a format that's not accessible to a person. There's also a new standard that's currently in development under the AODA, specifically about post-secondary education. So that one hasn't come into effect yet, but it is in development right now. So that's kind of the legislative background. But we prefer to think beyond just the legislation. Like the legislation is like the legal bar, but thinking about it in terms of like complying with the legal bar is pretty limiting. So instead, we just strive to be equitable, respectful, and positive towards all of the users of our library and provide them all with good experiences. So interpersonal communication is a really big part of any reference interaction. And that's something where users are not always clear or specific about what they need. So it can be challenging sometimes to kind of tease out when what information you're providing them isn't working. So it's really important to ensure good communication and to ask questions and to kind of follow the user's lead as you go to make sure that the service that you're providing them is what they need and that they are fully understanding the information that you're providing to them. So one other thing I wanted to mention is that many people actually come to chat because it may be more accessible to them than physically traveling to the library, or typing may be more accessible to them than talking on the phone, for example. So we know that we have a pretty significant percentage of users who are coming to us with some kind of access need, and they may not ever disclose to you that they have that access need. So generally, we try to be inclusive of all different types of abilities, learning styles, and preferences for how to receive information. So a few points on the slide. First one, be ready to share information in different ways. So somebody might ask a question and you found the perfect how-to video, but the person might not want a how-to video. So if they express some kind of preference for format, then that's something that you should really be following. Be aware that some users are using assistive technology to work with chat. So we'll talk a little bit about what those are later. But basically, not everybody is experiencing the internet the same way that you are. You know, they might have different settings on their computer, and they might, like the biggest example I always give is that sometimes you might want to give an instruction that's like, click the big red button on the right-hand side of your screen, but not everybody is going to be using software where they see a big red button on the right hand of their screen. They might be experiencing the interface in a different way. And then also be mindful of directing users to external resources that are not accessible, especially videos. We have a really strong requirement, and we really follow it with all of the libraries in OCUL of, you know, providing captions for all videos, for example, but external videos don't necessarily have those kinds of considerations. So just be aware of some of those things. So assistive technology, as I mentioned, some chat users will be using assistive technology to interact with Ask. Assistive technology is just any kind of technology that can adapt or assist a user to be better able to interact with a computer system. So a common type is screen readers. A screen reader is a software program that basically is commonly used by people who are blind or visually impaired, and it, like the name suggests, just reads what's on the screen. And this is something that we might get people using because Library Help is screen reader accessible, and a lot of work has been done to make sure that people can access it with a screen reader. Another common kind of assistive technology people might be using are alternative navigation tools. So that's for people who can't use like a mouse, for example, or have difficulty with a mouse, where they might be using something like an adapted keyboard and have to, instead of clicking a link, have to like hit tab to move through all the different options on the page till they get to the one that they want. They might be using some kind of stick or an eye mouse where it detects where they're looking and kind of clicks based on that. So there are different interfaces people can use to interact with what's on their computer screen. And then really common are screen magnifiers and color contrast tools. These are a lot more common now because they're built into most things, where you can kind of change your zoom function pretty easily or change to night mode pretty easily. But there are also a lot of accessibility reasons why people might use those. So that's something to be aware, especially when you're talking about like giving directions about where things are located on a page, or like what color a button is. Those can very much be impacted by those types of tools if someone's using them, and they probably won't disclose if they're using them because it's not that relevant to what's going on in your chat. Here's an example, and I picked on this. This is a LibGuide from U of T. There's a new version that they've updated since then that's a little bit better, but this is the kind of old version that I like to pick on of a site. On the left-hand side, it's how it looks if you're using kind of a regular mode, and on the right-hand side, you can see what it looks like in high contrast mode. So all of the black and white have been inverted, and you can see that what looks like a nice graphic when the screen is white looks really awkward in night mode, and that there might not be high enough color contrast for some people to be able to read the images on that chart. Here's an example, I don't know how well you can see that, of screen reader output. So up here we have the image of what the screen looks like. Down here we have, this is what a screen reader would access on this page. So we see heading level 2, why instructors insist on good citations. Graphic, why cite, explained by instructors. And then it doesn't contain any other transcript of that image. U of T has since improved this. So if you go to this page now, there is actually a link that will give you like a written transcript of this whole document. But that's something to be aware of, that if there's no alt text or insufficient alt text on an image, then people with screen readers can't access that image at all. So a few best practices relating to accessible communication. One of the most important things is to communicate clearly and to use plain language. So try to be concise and write in a relatively simple style. Chat is not really the place where you want to get all fancy and artistic and poetic with your words. Try to avoid jargon. This is kind of good practice in general, especially with library jargon. A lot of people don't understand it. And explain acronyms if you're going to use an acronym, because especially with a screen reader, if you just put in an acronym, sometimes a screen reader will try to read it as a word, even if it's not, or try to spell it out as initials if it's intended to be read as a word, and it can get confusing. So it's a good idea to explain acronyms if you're going to use them in advance. Using short sentences is helpful. In chat, it's better to send multiple short messages than to send like a really long paragraph. And then another one is avoiding excessive emoji usage. So we do encourage you to use emojis in chat, but it's better not to use like 3 or 4 in a row, especially if you have like a screen reader user, because the screen reader will actually read out the whole like hand clapping with skin tone 5, hand clapping with skin tone 5, hand clapping with skin tone 5. And that's not a great experience. So emojis are good, but you know, one at a time kind of a thing. And I also put some resources in here if you're interested in learning more about writing for accessibility with plain language writing. Okay, next one, user needs. It is helpful to highlight the different communication channels that are available to library users, especially if you have to refer somebody somewhere else, like if they've asked a question that you just can't answer over chat. It's better to give them multiple ways of getting that answer. So like an email address and a phone number, because you don't know which one they'll, unless they indicate like, give me the phone number. It's better to offer both and let them choose which option that they will want. Be responsive to the user's needs. So as you're going through the chat interaction, you'll probably learn a little bit about like what the user is responding to. how quickly they're able to respond, if you're sending messages too fast and they're getting overwhelmed. So it's a good idea to kind of pay attention to that and adapt your strategy as you go to sort of match the user's needs. And then I mentioned this earlier, don't give visual only instructions, like click on the big red button on the right-hand side of your screen. If possible, if you do have to tell somebody click on the button on the screen, it's helpful to give like the label that that button has, or like the word on that button, not just the visual instructions, in case they're either using some kind of assistive technology where the button doesn't look like what it looks like to you, or if they have some kind of perceptual disability, like say color blindness, and they're like red button, that must be that gray button that I see, or something like that. And then, as I mentioned earlier, it's important to check in with the user as you're going, making sure they're kind of absorbing the information that you're sending them, that they're following along with the information, especially if you're giving instructions. It's really valuable to make sure that the person has like done the first step of instruction you've given them before you've given them the next step in the instructions. Because sometimes you can end up in a situation where you've given somebody like 6 steps and they're still on step 2 and they're trying frantically to catch up with you. That's not what you want. And then pay attention to what the user says and what they're asking for. Again, if you find the video that's perfect, but they've specifically said they want written instructions, that's something it's really important to pay attention to what they have expressed that they want. And if you know that the video is perfect, you can always ask them, how about a video, instead of just sending that video and assuming that it'll be fine. So it's always a good practice to ask clarifying questions as you go and ask them about their preferences. I think sometimes we feel like we have to have all the answers and we're just providing all the answers, but it really is like a back and forth interaction. So don't be afraid to ask them questions about what they're looking for, what kinds of things are helpful to them, and how they're feeling about like how quickly you're going or how much information you're providing them. Okay. Questions about accessibility. We do have each of the library profiles that Guinsly was showing you earlier does have links to student accessibility services and other information about accessibility. So if you do get those questions, you can refer them to those resources. There's also a page on the Spot Docs about specific accessibility features within Ask a Librarian, or within the library help chat platform. So for example, how to zoom and increase the size of the text, how to change the sound notifications, things like that. So if you get those kinds of questions, there are resources on Spot Docs for how to answer those. You may receive questions from users who are experiencing access issues. In fact, you will, like that's a really common thing, people not having trouble accessing e-resources. One thing that might come up in this case is e-resources that are not accessible. And that's something that in most cases you should refer back to that institution. They have processes in place for doing either remediation of files or creating alternate formats of files for students who need them. Another question that you might receive is about page numbers. This is something that comes up not very often, but when it does come up, it can be kind of surprising sometimes. So people who are using EPUB formats or even sometimes PDF formats, if they're using it through certain types of assistive technology, it actually like scrapes off the page numbers. So they can read the whole content of the book, but they won't know like what page an individual quote is from. And that can be a big problem if you're writing a paper and you need to cite an individual quote. So we will sometimes get questions from people because they're told like this service can help you. I will sometimes get questions from people like, I need to know what page of the book this quote is on. Usually it's an ebook, so you can find that for them pretty easily. If it's a print book in their library, then you might need to direct them to somebody at their library who can go physically get the book off the shelf. But if it's an ebook, you can do that pretty easily. And that is something we do when people ask for that kind of information. And then just a little bit about accessibility at Scholars Portal specifically, because these are services that are available across the province, so you'll probably get questions about them at some point. We have a service called the Accessible Content ePortal, or ACE, which is a repository of accessible texts for library users with print disabilities. Some of our members have already started integrating the ACE accessibility directly into the Omni search discovery layer. So it's possible you might get more questions about that as this gets more popular. But basically, if a student wants to access this, they need to talk to either library accessibility services or student accessibility services at their institution, because they need to be assigned like a specific token to be able to access these materials. But they are available, and it's a service that we run at Scholars Portal, and it's one of the other services in my portfolio. So I'm like acting in charge of it right now while the person who's normally in charge of it is on leave. Another thing that we've done is with our Scholars Portal journals platform, which Gabby mentioned earlier. We have these big content repositories. We don't do any work on the content we receive to make it more accessible. So publishers send us hundreds of thousands of articles, and we don't really have the time to go in and change them to make them more accessible. But we've done a lot of work to make the experience of navigating the platform as accessible as possible. And we have specific help resources for people who are trying to navigate the platform while using screen readers and similar assistive technologies. So that's also there if you have a user who is having trouble trying to figure out how to find specific types of articles that Scholars Portal journals. We've done a lot of work to try and make it a good place to do that. Sometimes, especially students with visual disabilities really feel like they have to kind of tell the librarian what they want, and the librarian just gives them stuff. And we really try to make the experience of doing research as independent as possible for those users, because we think it's important. If you are interested in more training on this, the Council of Ontario Universities has like a little online training module about accessible customer service online. There's a link from these slides, which will be on Spot Docs. You can add it to your CV if you want. It's a nice little training tool. And that is the end of my presentation today. Any questions? Comments?
The first time that we're talking about accessibility for Ascot wasn't mentioned really, and I did live help in the Atlantic provinces, and accessibility was when we talked about it. So I really appreciate this, because it's true, like we really need to consider it.
Yeah. I think it's important, and like we know that there are users who are using our service who are, you know, using assistive technology or who require alternate formats. So I think it's a good good for you all to know like what resources are available. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, and as I said, these slides will be on the Spot Docs after the training session. I will end here. I think I might need to stop sharing my screen and pass it over to Guinsly for the next presentation. How do you exit slideshow? Here we go.
Thank you very much, Sabina. So next is online communication. Just okay, it's here. One second. Okay, online communication. Perfect. Regarding communication in general, we need to be extra careful because only 7% of our communication is, most of our communication is nonverbal. And so what are the elements of communication? There's 3 elements. There's words, there's vocal, meaning pitch and tone of voice, speed, rhythm. And finally, there's visual communication, body language, gesture, and expression. So those are 93% of communication is nonverbal. Let's see next. Yes. Compared to face-to-face and chat, between those 3 type of communication, verbal, vocal, or visual. Sorry. Verbal stay the same. Either the vocal, there's a difference on the chat because we are using punctuation, capitalization, length of message, and let's say I'm using can you read it? And I put everything in capitalize everything. So that's a different meaning than having it lowercase, I could say. For face-to-face, okay, body language, gesture, it's important. But on the chats, we don't have this visual cue. What we have is emojis and smileys can be used as a gesture. I heard someone say that on their previous chat service, they were not using emojis. Is that right or what? Did I hear well or? Oh, okay. That's RUSA guideline of behavioral performance, and there's a document for online communication provided by RUSA. Is the guideline for behavioral performance of reference and information service providers. Is designed to aid informational professional during the reference process. It identify different aspects of not rubric, how can I say that, aspect of different component that is important, like approachability, interest, how to follow up with a user, different component that is quite important. We'll see each of them. So let's go through those categories. The first one is approachability. How do we communicate when we start the chat service? The issue is that we have an absence of visual or physical cues, difficulty to building rapport, and conveying tone. So those are the issue. And what are the best practice? We try to pick up the chat within 30 seconds. we greet the patron, like good morning, hello, hi, and welcome them. We introduce, you can use a cat message for that. We introduce ourselves, integrate usernames into message. Some operator doesn't like to provide their name, so that's okay. So we just those are recommendation, so it's not a policy or instruction or obligation, sorry. And we ask that you mirror users' level of formality. If they said hi, you said hi. Next is interest. Interest encompass like positive. We ask that we encourage positive reaction, I could say, or positive follow-up. Or what do we mean? Because the issue is that patron cannot see what we are doing to help, and they might have some, I don't know, anxiety or stress related with their question or with their reference question. What we ask our operator, we recommend that we always be positive, always have a casual and be expressive, I could say. Use exclamation point, use contraction when the user use contraction. Thank you. We ask that you thank you or congratulations, things like that. Communicate transition when the patron doesn't know when what we are doing. If we are searching and it takes like 2-3 minutes for them, depending on their situation, maybe that takes an eternity. Sorry. So it's good to acknowledge users. We communicate what we are doing. I'm still searching. From time to time, you type, I'm still searching. This is what I'm doing. This is the current result. I'm still narrowing down the search result, just to let the patron knows. And by interest as well, if they have a research topic, you can say, okay, it's interesting. So, and if they say that they are writing, they almost finished to write their thesis, let's say, you can congratulate them, and so on. Another approach, another categories of the RUSA guideline, it's the listening and inquiry. We make sure to understand them and they understand what we are doing or what we mean. We clarify as much as possible. We verify. We check back with if they understood the same thing as we. So the issue is commonly communication can be confusing or ambiguous, or have an ambiguous question, or they might have a time pressure. Okay, I want to, let's say Saturday at 6 or Sunday at 6 p.m. and the service close at 6 p.m. and they still need to, they are writing a paper, and then they might write their question in a way, or the communication might seems to have a sense of rush or like a time pressure. Conduct a thorough reference interview question. Paraphrase, then ask a confirmation. It's really important to ask to go a thorough interview question. Sometimes the question they ask might be easy. They might say, is Alex is in the library? And then you start looking for librarian at this library to see if there's somebody named Alex. Alex is a technician, is a librarian, or and then finally you find out that it's Friday and they have a pet therapy, they have a dog coming, and that's the name of the pet. So it's good to ask a lot of questions instead of assuming it's a librarian. Set realistic expectation and warn of possible delay. There's kind of message saying that I'm currently answering other users, other student or other users. Ask for feedback. Okay, this is my search result. Is there anything that is interesting? Or this is the article I found. Can you read the abstract and then let me know if that's fits what you're looking for. Meanwhile, I'll keep looking for other documents. Searching. We like students to learn something. We don't force them like we recommend to provide instruction so that patron can follow along. Sometimes patron are quite time sensitive, so they want the paper instead of instruction, but we recommend that we provide instruction. Okay, this is my search criteria, and then are you able to replicate it? If you don't have time, this is the search result. Follow the user's pace. Some users are taking more time than others. When we are answering multiple chat, you'll see that, okay, this user is answering quick and the other one might answer more, I could say, slowly, but we have to not mimic, but we have to be patient, I could say. Next is, oops, sorry, follow up. If you issue is abrupt ending of a chat, the feeling that the librarian is limiting their time. Sometimes as a librarian, you might not know the answer. It's okay to say no, that you don't know, but we recommend that you always follow up with an alternative or referral. Can you contact your liaison librarian? This is the email of the liaison librarian. Or can you send this chat? Can you send this message on this email, the library reference email, so that every librarian can see and someone will answer you. Ask if the user has any other question. Is there anything else I can help you with? Thank the patron for using the service and always invite the user to return. And some common misunderstandings, some case scenario. As a patron, they often think that because they are communicating with us, we are in their local home library. We are in their local library. So it's not necessarily true. Another case is that believe that the operator is not the operator itself, but they think that we are not human. So they think that we are talking with a robot. So the best practice is for in the case of patrons home library, we try our best not to reveal that we are not located in the patron library. Is it that our research, scholarly research, find that when we reveal, especially for graduate students, when we reveal that we are not from the local library, there is some it seems like there is a negative or correlation, I could say, or inverse correlation, downward correlation. So we try not. It's a collaborative service. And let's say they are asking for, okay, can you renew this item for me? You might say that you don't have access to a certain aspect of the system, so that to not revealing that we are not in the library. Make attempt to answer and then refer. But in the worst case scenario, I mean, if you have to say you're not from the library, you can say it, but not at the beginning. Try as much as to not reveal that. Another case, patron is not aware that the operator is juggling multiple chat. So for that case, we recommend that at the beginning, we're using the can message, stating that we are answering multiple chat, informing the user of possible delay, or I'm answering this chat from another user. Can you send your question on the chat? Meanwhile, I'll as soon as I have some time, I will get back to this chat. And so that's overall for the online communication. Is there any question or any other practice that you learn from class that is different from our policy or recommendation? Okay, so let's stop here. Next, sorry, I didn't see the chat, the Zoom. Did I share my screen? I hope I shared my screen. Oh, wow. Sorry about that. I didn't see that I didn't share my screen. Sorry about that, Mila. So, okay, I'll pay more attention next time. Yeah. The next one is policy and FAQ. Oops, is not the one. Okay, so let me stop sharing because it's not the one that I was looking for. Oh, okay, that one's not this one. Okay, let me stop sharing. Okay, if you have any question and I don't answer, for those who are on the chat, feel free to use the microphone so that I can, feel free to interrupt me, sorry. So perfect. The next presentation will last about 15 minutes, let's say. And then we'll go to break. I'll just distribute some paper. The policies and FAQ presentation, it's mostly a set of questions that operator often ask us or send us by email, so that we'll try to answer those questions. So, one. Sorry. That didn't do much. Sorry. So I will proceed. Well, I'll go over the slides, and when there's a question, I'll ask you to ask the question. So we'll mimic an operator asking Scholars Portal a question. Okay, for the first question, how do I access SpotDoc? SpotDoc, actually, I have all the. So look at the onboarding email, and then you'll have your credential, or otherwise contact us to add you to the Ask a Librarian space, meaning that some of you are have a position, but as well you are, how can I say that? You might be in a committee within OCUL, and then you already have a personal account. All of you has received an onboarding email has a collaborative, or I could say a school credential to access SpotDoc, but some of you, because you are part of a committee, and you all already have a personal SpotDoc account, you can contact us so that we can add your account to access the Ask a Librarian space. So this is the onboarding email that I mentioned before. So there's nothing new. Like I said, on the bottom you see the staff, the queues that you need to staff in on the blue. Where can I find the report issue form? That's another question that often operator ask, even yesterday. So on the library help, you can access it when we go to profiles, and then you select the Scholars Portal profile, and you'll see on the top right, you'll see the link to access the report issue form. The report issue form, okay, or otherwise the report issue form is located on the SpotDoc page, on the home page of the Ask a Librarian, and then you'll have the link. What does contain the report issue form? It's a form that describe, or you'll report any discrepancy that you find on the service. Let's say someone missed a shift, the proxy password doesn't work, or maybe, yeah, let's say inappropriate behavior, or from a patron, or a disruption on the service. Let's say the service become unstable. Let's say library help platform become unstable. You logged out without clicking something to log out. So this is the form to fill. What will happen is that when you fill this form, if the issues pertaining to a school, let's say I'm reporting that Algoma operator is not currently staffing the service, then Algoma, the local coordinator at Algoma, will receive this chat with this email, and Scholars Portal as well, so that we can troubleshoot, or I will log in to replace Algoma, or Algoma, I will find someone to log in. Scheduling and staffing. Who has the number PL56? Oh, it's me, sorry. So the question is, how can I tell if all schedule operators are present? So on the chat service, on the chat platform, on the left, you see Laura from Western, Madeline from McMaster, Magela from Saint Paul, and Sue from Guelph Humber. So you see there's 4 schools. Let's say Toronto was supposed to staff. Check the service schedule. So this show you where the service schedule is, but you can go onto the library profile to see the schedule and to see which school is missing. So let's see, who has H5PF? Okay, and what is the question?
What if an operator misses a shift or relief doesn't arrive?
Okay, so what happens if an operator misses a shift? We ask our policies to report the absence during the first 10-15 minutes. Some of you has other responsibility, meaning that you're in a meeting and then the meeting is running late. That's why you are not in your staffing on time. So that's why we ask for 10-15 minutes. Otherwise, passing that time, we fill the report issue form that I showed earlier. And just show you where to locate the report issue form. Next is shift logistics, who has the number or the chat R5GY. Yeah. Okay, Kimali.
How many concurrent chats am I expected to work on?
Okay, so at the beginning, we ask as many as you are comfortable to take. So at the beginning, you might only take one chat at a time. And then maybe your second or third or 4 or 5 shift down the road, you might take more. Okay, so I don't want to repeat. Okay, I have this question. How do I decide if I should take a chat? So how do I decide if I should take a chat? So we'll match the patron to a librarian from his institution. So if I see a chat from OCAD, okay, I know Holly is here, so I'll leave it to Holly to answer that question. And if Holly doesn't answer, then I'll take it. So in the chat, like I said before, on the left, you see the list of operator and their extension. Yeah, their username. They have a, is it suffix or prefix? Suffix. Yes, suffix. So they have like West for Western, McMaster, St. Paul, and so on. Who has the number ABT6? Okay.
What to do with thank you or goodbye chats?
Okay, sometimes when you finish a chat and you close the chat, and let's say you leave, you end your shift, and another operator coming or anyway, so there's an incoming chat. You just say thank you. You don't have any context. It usually means that it's from a previous chat. So we usually ask that you close this chat window. So we don't answer it, we just close it. We don't say welcome. What happens is that when the previous, when you finish a chat conversation, it will send an automatic message to the patrons stating that inviting the user to fill the exit survey. So if the user filled the exit survey and then you still reply to this thank you, it will send another message inviting the user to fill this exit survey again. It's like a infinite loop, if I can say. So we try to not to answer those thank you message. Next is number 9HE4. Okay.
How does this work for texting chat?
So we ask that the texting operator must pick up all the incoming texting. We also match the patron to the library. So if there's a Carlton operator online and there's an incoming chat from Carlton, I don't need to answer it. I mean, they will answer it. And that's all. Sorry, who is P34? Okay, yes.
What to do with texting chat sent during off hours?
So one of the particularity of the service, one second, I think my chat, is it open? Okay, it's just that one of the particularity of the texting service instead of web service, let's say the chat service open from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. On the web, they can only send message during those hours. But for the texting service, they can send message anytime. So meaning during off hours. What happened is that the next time an operator will log into the service, they will receive this incoming chat. So what we recommend is that we tell them, we're sorry, the texting was sent during off hours, and then do they still need help with that? Because sometimes meanwhile they find the help that they needed. But it's a must that you should reply to this text, not ignore them, just reply. As you can see, you'll always have a message saying offline message sent a certain number of hours ago. Who has number V5LD? Okay.
What do I do if I'm in the middle of a chat and it's the end of my shift?
Okay, that's a great question. So there's a canned message. We ask 5 minutes before leaving. If you know that in 5 minutes your shift is ending, send this message saying that, okay, to alert the patron saying your shift is ending in 5 minutes or 10 minutes. I might need to transfer it to another operator at the end of my shift. If it's the end of your shift. Okay, sorry. I thought it wasn't yet the end of your shift. But if it's the end of your shift, you ask for a volunteer to take this chat during the conference, using the conference room so that you can transfer it to another operator. And you also tell the user that your shift is ending and you'll need to transfer the chat if they agree with that. Who has M5FS? I guess is CMU resource sharing resource. Is it you?
Oh, yes. What do I do if chats are being submitted and the service is scheduled to close?
Okay, so it's the same thing as the one before, almost the same thing. If the schedule is scheduled to close, let's say there's 1 or 2 minutes left, log off promptly on the time that your shift is ending or the schedule close. When they said schedule close, that let's say today the service closed at 4 p.m. So 4 p.m. is the last 3:59, let's say, is the last time to pick up a chat. It's just that if you answer or if your status is set to busy, if your status is set to available, as long as an operator is online, all the other school has their chat button open. So we ask that you set your status to busy. You answer that chat saying that the service is now closing. Please contact us tomorrow. And so on. Okay, next I'll do it. What do I do if I don't know the answer of the patron question? Best practice is to work the patron to find asking the interview reference interview process so that you can find narrow down the question or narrow down a result, I could say. Model good research habits. Ask your colleague in the conference room if you don't know the answer. Sometime, let's say I receive a question about legal or law, judicial, I don't know, some question about legal stuff. I don't know how to say that, but I will ask a colleague in the conference room. Okay, are they well versed in this topic? If all else fails, refer to the local the liaison librarian. As a part-time VRO, what do I staff? What do I staff the service? Okay. Why do I? It's supposed to be why, I believe. Why do I staff the service using a different login? Okay, it's just that some of the part-time VRO that are here, some of the part-time, those hired by Scholars Portal, some of them are students. Let's say they are students from Western, and they also are operator at Western. So they have 2 accounts, and let's say they are staffing, they log in or they're staffing the service with the wrong account. So we ask that you contact us so that we can tell HR or OCUL that, okay, this is AOR, this is the amount that should have been paid, etc. How do I handle a question that is outside of the scope of the service? Let's say a user is asking for registration. So the best practice to practice chat triage, if you have many chat, you can refer the patron to a service to the school website, let's say, so that they can find a way to have the local the department contact. Yeah, so the purpose of this chat service is library based or library research related question, and as well there's many as well writing services question like citation help. What do I do if a patron behave inappropriately? So we ask that you send a warning or sending canned messages. We have 3 levels of canned message or 4 levels of canned messages. That's escalating, saying, okay, this is not your question or your behavior is not part of or line of conduct or is not follow the purpose of this chat service. If they continue, you can block the patron from returning to the service, and we recommend, or this is more instruction, you must fill a report issue form so that Scholars Portal can follow up to see, okay, if that patron keep doing the same thing with other operator or and so on. So that's all for us. This is our contact. So this is all. Do you have any question? Okay, perfect. So I will, for those who are online, we are going to take a break. We'll come back at 1:15. Those who are in person, there is the catering service, have food there. As well, for the afternoon, we have thanks. We have another computer lab downstairs. If you want to, it's just this one is a bit close, I could say. But the downside is you don't have access to a computer. Because I mean, there's computer, but you must be a UFT student. So if you prefer to stay here, so we can stay here, all of us stay here, or if you want, you can go downstairs as you want. Let us know before a quarter past 1. So I'll stop the recording. I will get back at 1:50. There's another link for the afternoon session.
Thanks.